What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Martin, and on this lovely Saturday morning I am taking a look at this, the all-new Hyundai IONIQ 5 N. Now, as you might know, the N to Hyundai is what M means to BMW. N means performance. We've tested the i20N, the i30N. We absolutely love them. This is quite a serious performance label, and we now have their first electric car, and I think this has been really highly anticipated because it sort of promises to bring the petrolhead experience to electric cars. Just to summarize the promise. This is such an elaborate, intricate car with so many options and so many possibilities and settings, and it's quite a hard car to review actually. I just got it yesterday, and today is the only, you know, dry day to review the car because I have to bring it back on Monday. We had quite a short window. I've just had to internalize all this information about this car, which is a lot, and I hope that on this lovely Saturday morning I'm able to tell you all about the car, show you everything about the car, and you know, give it like a proper review. So let's do a walk around. We have these specific IONIQ 5 and wheels, 275 section Pirelli P0s with a Hyundai N specific configuration. It's a 275 all round. It's a 21-inch wheel, very big brakes behind that. We have this like orange striping, and then at the rear, I love the IONIQ 5, by the way. I think it's one of the most funky electric cars you can get. Well, leave out the electric. I think it's one of the most funky cars you can buy. Little charging port right there. So as I said, I love the IONIQ 5, especially like the rear light unit. It's like this 80s arcade-ish vibe I get from it, which I do really like. We have this blacked out diffuser, little N badge right there. We have a roof spoiler on top. We even have this little, what is it, fog light in the diffuser, as if it's an F1 car. Quite a pronounced wide body here, flared arches. And what I really like, since I have two kids, it's really spacious in the back. So this is my seating position. I'm 187, so it's really spacious. Not that spacious in the rear, so my two dogs don't really like that, but this is something I do like. No more Hello Kitty suck cuppy thingies on there. The two-stage heated seat in the rear, which is good. So the overall look, I really dig. I think it's a really funky looking car. The headlights also very cool looking. So only 100 of these are coming to the Netherlands. I didn't know this, but it's a limited production, so they have like a set number that they're going to produce. Let's check out the engine. Normally don't do this with electric cars, but let's see what's underneath here. Sort of an engine cover with that N logo on top. Conventional battery right there, and there is, I think, part of the electric engine. This is 609 horsepower and 730 newton meters. But if you use the N Grin boost mode, that goes up to 650 horsepower and 770 newton meters of torque. 0 to 100, 3.5 seconds, but if you're in that boost mode and use launch control, you'll do 3.4. Top speed 260, which is really good, Hyundai. Finally a decent top speed. So it's an 800 volt architecture. I think the more sensible big brother to this car is the Kia EV6 GT, which we really liked. And I remember that when I drove that car, I was like, why not put this drivetrain in the IONIQ 5? And I asked the guys and they said, oh, just you wait. And I did. The wait is over. So, on the interior, the first thing you notice are these lovely bucket seats. not too supportive, I have to admit. Seating position is also a little too high, and it's not great, you know. I'm used to these beautiful bucket seats from my M3, but this is, you know, not even nearly as good. So seating position is a little too high, and another sort of a problem is that, you know, since this is really a driver's car, the adjustability of the steering wheel is a bit disappointing as well. It only goes up to here, but I want to have it like here. So we have a physical start button, which I also really like. I'm always confused whether an EV is running or not. It's a good thing. This screen right here is also pretty good, I think. I think the font, I think the brightness, I think the contrast on the screen is super clear, and I really like the graphics of the speedometer, just very simple and clear. Okay, now we're going to deep dive into all the settings and stuff, which might seem a bit boring, but it's not. I promise you, it's not boring. I'm going to do that while driving, so that's going to be a challenge, trust me. I'm going to put the car into drive, and we're just going to start in, you know, eco. That's a mode you're going to use with this car, because it's an 85 kilowatt hour battery, so it's not enormous, but if you just keep it into eco mode, you'll do a decent mileage, I guess. Again, it's only been 24 hours with this car. That was it for eco mode, as far as I'm concerned. Let's go over to N mode. So this is the N custom 1 mode. So with this N button right here, I adjust the different modes. So like with a BMW M, you have N1 and N2, and you have 2 custom settings. So with my N1 setting right now, I have everything in Sport Plus, or, you know, the most sporty setting. And with that, we can of course do launch control. So what we're going to do is find a little straight. Okay, found it. And we're going to activate launch control, which we're going to do by pressing that button right here. Now let's dive into launch control, because that's also something a little more advanced, because you can select the grip levels, so low, medium and high. And if you select high, it will pre-torque the whole drivetrain, so that's super cool. Let's give that a try. So we're going to activate it, press the N-Grin boost mode for the fastest launch. There we go. It's ready. Are you guys? So 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds. I did 3.55, and that was with the N-Grin boost, so wasn't really all that exciting, right? Okay, now let's give that a try with the N-Active sound. There it is. As you might know, this is one of the most controversial things about this car. It has 3 different active sound settings. So this is supersonic, which should like mimic fighter jet, evolution, F1 car from the future, something like that, and ignition, which is more of a conservative petrol engine, some sort of approach. So we're not going to do launch control again, because we have to let it cool down for 4 minutes, but we're just going to give it some. Is that already better? I do think it's a little better. It's more involving, but this is the most interesting part about this car. Hyundai NE shift. So if I press this button right here, the dials change. I get a head-up display with a rev counter. What's up with that? Well, I'll tell you what's up with that. We have a fake gearbox, an 8-speed dual clutch gearbox. So let's try out first gear. Wow, it even has a rev limiter. And now the fake sound sort of comes to life. We even have pops and bangs from the exhaust. And all of a sudden it's a completely different car. It is completely different in the whole experience. It's like I got out and got into a different car, really. Wow, that's a lot to take in. Okay, first we're going to have to do some stupid stuff. So we have to turn off all the stupid safety systems, which are just annoying as hell. They constantly remind you you're going too fast, you're crossing a line, stuff like that. It's really annoying. So everything turned off. Yes, there's a lot of menus, guys, really a lot. There we go. So, have I covered everything I wanted to cover up until now? Okay, yeah, we have also battery preconditioned, so you can heat up the battery to get maximum performance. I also did that before my launch control run. It takes 35 minutes, which I think is ridiculous. Who's going to do that? And in what setting are you going to do that? I don't know. But you can choose between drag and track. And drag is made for like high performance, short duration. And track is sort of the opposite. So high duration and a little less performance to keep it consistent. So what else do we have? And road sense. So when the car knows that there's a nice curvy bit coming up, it suggests using N mode, which I think is just awesome. How cool is that? The car telling you to you know, enjoy a little bit. What else do we have? And pedal, so you can left foot brake if you turn that on. Drift optimizer, no one's going to use that in my opinion. Torque distribution, that's, you know, quite fun. You can vary the torque between front wheel drive and rear wheel drive, everything to the front or everything to the rear. All good fun. So, but I think this is what we have to really talk about, you know, the E-shift. How does it feel? The engineers over at Hyundai are very, very capable people. We have already experienced that with earlier models. But this is such a brave attempt to get that PETROLHEAD experience into an electric car. I think it's so brave of them. And what they did is nothing short of brilliant. Really, you can just tell how much effort, time and expertise has gone into developing this system. It is such a natural experience, really. It honestly feels like a hybrid V8 from like a BMW XM or something, combined with a very fast gearbox. It is very convincing, very convincing. So when I shift, I get this little jolt. When my revs are a little too low or my gear is a little too high, it really has that like turbo struggle, and then it, you know, really picks up in torque and just builds up. It is so natural, really. How did they do this? This is their first attempt, their very brave attempt at making an electric car exciting, you know, giving us that traditional drivetrain experience. And It is so different to everything else. It is amazing what they did, really. So 100 to 200, pretty impressive. But I have to admit, you know, gunning it on the Autobahn is really not what this has been made for, because the range just drops insanely fast. That's a bit of a disappointment for me. I really would consider this car because I think it's so much fun to drive. You know, on a B road it is a lot of fun. It's really nice to handle. You do feel the weight, so on transitions, you know, left right, or on braking, hard braking, you can really feel the car pushing over its brake performance. You know, all these options you get. You also get so many different driving experiences, because this is the button to switch to normal, you know, gear mode, and now you get that electric power experience where you just get peak power constantly. Without an E-shift, I was 1.5 seconds faster 100 to 200 than with an E-shift. So that like build up in power, like a combustion engine, you sort of lose performance because you have to build up the power. But you know, this way, without an E-shift, you have full power all the time. But it is just more of a handful. You do get more performance, but the gears make it more manageable, really. So the power distribution, you get 450 horsepower on the rear axle and 200 on the front axle. You can definitely tell if you push the car, it will oversteer, even if you're not in some kind of a drift mode. This is just fun, guys. It's fun. And isn't that what cars are all about? So I am really impressed with what Hyundai did. They went a different way. Everyone else is doing the same thing, just giving us big power numbers, and they're not being creative. And Hyundai has been creative. I love the fact that this is their approach and this is what they're giving us. It's a very, very brave attempt, and I applaud it. And what they did with the E-shift is so impressive. There are a few things about this car that is just wow. It's the E-shift, it's the suspension. It has adjustable suspension, of course, so a three-way adjustable suspension, as you can see. We're going to get the end menu out once again. And it's very easy to adjust it. You just tap this and you're back in normal mode, Sport or Sport Plus. And in normal mode, it's super comfortable, soaks up everything. It's still very enjoyable to drive, because if you attack a corner in normal mode, it really like dances around you. You can really feel the car settling into a corner. In Sport, you know, it's a bit in between, and in Sport Plus, it's just rock solid, really rock solid. And that bandwidth is, again, very impressive. So guys, there was so much to talk about. I forgot a bunch of things, I'm sure, but I tried to, you know, cramp it into one video. I seriously considered doing 2 videos because it's just so much, but I think this was a really good impression of what the Ioniq 5N is, and it's a very, very, very promising car. Not only is it promising as a car, but as an approach to what electric cars can be for the petrolhead. Thank you, Hyundai. Thank you guys for watching this video. Go subscribe to our channel, go check out this video or the playlist right here. Thanks guys, bye.